Is an inexpensive Amazon cell phone booster gonna work for you, and is it worth the money? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. You want to talk about dedication? This is dedication. I drove all the way out to Banff, Alberta to make this video because I needed to go somewhere where cell phone service was not as great as in town so that we could test out this, which is a cell phone signal booster. Now, when you're looking at a cell phone booster, a lot of people online seem to think that price is directly tied to performance. What I mean by that is only the expensive ones actually work, and most people write off these, which can be had on Amazon for under $200. Now, they almost always are recommending something that is closer to $800 to $1,000. That is a massive price gap. And with such a big price gap, I got to wondering, could an inexpensive one do what you need it to do, or do you really get what you pay for and you have to shell out those extra dollars? So the best way to do that, obviously, is to go somewhere where there's very little cellular coverage and then see what happens when you boost it. Now, the best way that I can tell to test cellular service is to use your cell phone and perform a few tests. So we can't look at cellular bars alone, and that's mostly because cell service providers and even the cellular manufacturers lie. They lie a lot. And they'll put extra bars on there even though you don't have that because they want you to buy their phone. So if you were comparing this S24 Ultra to an iPhone, for example, if I show more bars than the iPhone, I might falsely think that I have a better cellular antenna inside this phone and then tell everybody else to buy this phone because the cellular range is good. Unless, of course, you're using a Pixel 8 Pro, the cell reception in that phone sucks horribly and you probably shouldn't get it. But besides bars, the most important thing to you is not how many bars you have, it's do you have usable cellular reception? Best way I can tell to figure that out is to do a simple speed test. Why a speed test? Well, for me, I'm mostly using my phone to stay connected to the outside world. I'm using it to stream Netflix on my TV. I'm using it to check my emails. I'm using it to doom scroll Facebook while I'm just sitting here doing nothing out in the woods. And probably you guys are too. We're gonna do a speed test now. Then I'm gonna do a quick setup of this. I'm not gonna do a full install, I just wanna get it working. So I'll show you guys the test conditions so you can see exactly how we're testing this thing out. And then we'll do another speed test and see if there's any difference. We will look at the actual signal as well, but we know that the signal's not as accurate as a test. NordVPN. Maybe you've never considered a VPN before because they are only for criminals and people that have something to hide. But that is simply not true. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. A VPN creates an encrypted tunnel for your data which protects your online identity by hiding your IP address and allows you to use public Wi-Fi hotspots safely. But if you have nothing to hide, why would you need a VPN? For secure online entertainment. Do you like gaming online? Well, forget about DDoS attacks and bandwidth throttling with NordVPN. It's a VPN that gamers love and it's very gamer friendly. Do you want a more relaxed evening of sitting back and enjoying a show? Watch your favorite TV series and movies without slowdowns. NordVPN can save your movie night by preventing your ISP from throttling your connection. Also, top secret tip, you can access shows in other regions that are normally region blocked by using a VPN and setting your home connection to whatever country the show that you want to watch is airing from. This works with Netflix, Hulu, and all of the major streaming companies to access those shows that normally you wouldn't be able to see. For private internet browsing, government agencies, marketers, and internet service providers would all love to track and collect your browsing history, messages, and other private data. The best way to hide it? Using a VPN to keep your data safe. For safe traveling, use NordVPN to secure your connection on public Wi-Fi so you can browse in full privacy even when you're far away from home. Hackers have many methods to steal your data on public hotspots, but with a VPN, your online traffic is invisible to them. Ready to give NordVPN a try? Click the link down below in the description for exclusive Gears and Tech offers and discounts on a brand new sign up. You can cancel anytime, but grab this deal before it expires. Signing up through the link below does help this channel out a little bit extra as well, and we really appreciate your support. Let's get back to the video. Now I'm up here in Canada. My cellular provider is TELUS. And in Canada, we really only have two providers, Rogers or TELUS. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you're actually with. You're using either Rogers towers or TELUS's towers. In the United States, there are a number of different providers, and these boosters actually will boost all providers. The one that I'm going to link in the description, it actually says all providers USA, but it's actually the exact same one that you get up here in Canada because they're all using pretty much the same cellular technology. So it's not usually a big deal anymore. In the old days, it really mattered, but not anymore. So the test has completed now without the cellular booster, and we're getting pretty bad results. 0.8 megabits per second download with 0.44 megabits per second upload, which is not great. It's certainly not good enough to stream Netflix, and you're gonna notice this as slowdown when you're going on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all those things. You're gonna have it just staring at a blank screen while you wait for it to load. Eventually it will load all in, but it's gonna take a long time with speeds like that. So now we should probably go set up the booster and then run this test again. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. So as I said, we're in beautiful Banff, Alberta National Park. What we've done here is I've just put the outside antenna on top of my bump out. It's just sitting there. For the antenna, you really want to be as high as possible. So this is not ideal, but it is acceptable. You can see the cable is coming down here, and then we just put it under the trailer, and then we brought it up over to here, and it's just going in our door. Now this again is not ideal. It's going in here, and the door's closed a couple times on it already, but you get the idea there. And then that connects up to our cell phone booster. Now, it's important you do the connections properly. So this connects outside. It says outside to that antenna. And then we have an indoor antenna, and that's just coming to this little guy right here. So I've just got this wire here, and then I'm gonna put this on the table right there for now, and we've plugged it into the wall. Now I have AC power here right now, but if you are off grid, it does come with a cigarette plug adapter. This thing actually only runs off of 5 volts, and it pulls up to 2 amps. So you can power this if you wanted to off even a USB plug, but you probably want to plug it into the wall or use the cigarette plug if you have it. Now we're going to turn it on, and when we turn it on, it does a cycle of lights, and then it's going to tell us which services it's receiving and boosting. So this one currently is receiving LTE-A, LTE-V, cell phone, PCS, and AWS. Probably you don't have AWS in your area. We do, but it's a provider that nobody uses, and it's a provider I did not talk about in this video yet, but it is receiving that signal as well and boosting it. So now technically we are taking the signal from outside on the roof. It's coming around into this booster, and then it's rebroadcasting the boosted signal to this antenna on the table. Now I'll step back a little bit here. Our trailer is kind of big in the back space. It's not very clean, but most of the time we're going to be in this area right here. You do want your inside antenna to be as close to where your cell phone is likely to be, and you want your outside antenna to be as far away from the inside antenna as possible. And the reason for that is if you don't, you could actually create a feedback loop where it's just like putting a microphone into a speaker and it makes that high-pitched squealing sound. This would do essentially the same thing and make your cell service worse than if you weren't using the booster in the first place. So the first thing that we're gonna look at is the signal bars. So I have, what's that, 3 bars out of 5. So you remember I talked about the bars aren't everything, and that's mostly because cellular manufacturers lie. Now you can see I just went up to 4 bars of service, and my eyes are kind of bad, but it looks like I might even be at 5 bars. That's with me right on top of the antenna. Now, if I was sitting on the couch over there, my bars would potentially drop a little bit. So what I've been doing here is actually, I turn on my Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone, so it shares it to my TV, it shares it to my laptop, it shares it to my wife's phone, and essentially this just sits right here, right next to the boost antenna, so that I know I've got the strongest signal possible to get the best internet connection possible. So now, we're gonna do another speed test. So the test is complete, and as you can see, it's a huge improvement with 24 megabits per second download. Our upload speed is still kind of spotty. It's 0.18 megabits per second upload. Now, that can be a problem if you're like accessing a lot of pages, because it has to send the page request out. That's where that upload comes. But as long as that gets out, which it will at that speed, it'll just be a little bit slower, then the download speed will serve that page to you quite fast. This is high enough speed that you could watch your Netflix, you can browse the web, you can watch your Instagram, your TikToks and all that at a reasonable pace that you couldn't have done otherwise. Now, I will point out that this is not a perfect solution. And even during the testing here, I had to run the test multiple times because the way that it's boosting the signal was not 100% reliable, but it is markedly better than no booster at all. And that's because we're kind of in a fringe area where the signal actually goes from about 2 to 3 signal strength to 1, and sometimes it drops out completely. So we went from that situation to where currently I'm at 4 bars of signal. My signal's not changing, but I do keep switching between LTE plus and LTE. So my phone is just constantly switching back and forth, which is causing my battery to drain quickly. But I will say that this can take a signal as long as it exists and boost it enough that it becomes quite useful in a remote environment out here in the woods where you still want to stay connected. So overall, I mean, do the $1,000 units work better? Well, I really hope so. But do they work better enough that you need to pay 4 times as much money for them? I'm not convinced at this point. If this seems like something that you want to give a try, you can certainly click the link down below, pick one up for yourself. In a different video, we're going to actually do the proper install of this in the RV so that it is always here and it's always on. No matter where we're going, when we get there, this one will be there. One thing to note that not a lot of other reviewers are talking about is this device is to be registered. You're supposed to register this device as a rebroadcasting cellular device. There's instructions in the box on how to do that. There's also instructions on the back of the booster that say how to do that. You can be contacted by the FCC and asking you to turn it off if it's causing problems in your area. So be warned that if you are not using it appropriately, you could be asked to shut the thing off. So it's in your best interest to register it and use it in the proper guidelines according to your state or province. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.